Brad Davis presents.
Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of D-Pad. I'm your host Brad Davis, and you're watching a show that's all about video games. This episode is going to take a look at the 3DS XL to start the show off. Now, the 3DS XL, everybody knew that was coming sooner or later, but does the 3DS XL improve on the 3DS in many ways, or is it just a bigger system and nothing more? Well, you'll find out in my review that's coming up right now. The 3DS XL should be no surprise to anyone who has been following up on Nintendo's handheld consoles for years now. The system was pretty much a given after the various versions of the original DS. So, does the 3DS XL improve on many aspects of the original 3DS? Yes, matter of fact, it improves on so many aspects that it's almost impossible to go back to the original 3DS. The system is obviously bigger than the original 3DS and features bigger screens. The bigger screens make a lot of 3DS games look new again. The perfect example of this is Mario Kart 7. Mario Kart 7 looks great on the system to the point in which it seems like it was made for the system, even though the game came out months before the 3DS XL was released. Speaking of looks, the 3D effect on the 3DS XL is pretty much the same to me, even though the screens on the 3DS XL are bigger. I have heard others say that the 3D effect is worse, and others say that the 3D effect is better. Overall, I would suggest to check it out in the store yourself. Now, outside of the screens, the 3DS XL has much better build quality in comparison to the original 3DS. The original 3DS was made out of shiny plastic that feels very cheap after playing on the matte 3DS XL. The extra weight of the 3DS XL feels so much better for holding the system, and the buttons on the system are better build quality than the original 3DS as well. They are clickier and feel better for long periods of game time. The D-pad is also in a better position, making it easier to use. Now, the only thing that's a big disappointment about the 3DS XL to me is the sound quality. The volume of the 3DS XL is much lower than the 3DS. The 3DS XL at max sounds pretty close to the original 3DS at half volume. To this day, I still sometimes try to raise a volume slider on my 3DS XL due to me thinking that the volume isn't up all the way. But then I soon realized that the volume slider is up all the way. Overall, the volume is pretty low. Besides the lower volume, there's nothing else about the 3DS XL that I can say is worse than the original 3DS. The 3DS XL feels better in the hands, is better when it comes to build quality, and has bigger screens. Unless you really care about portability and want something that's easier to carry around, the 3DS XL is a much better system than the original 3DS. For $30 more, you are getting a much better system in comparison to the original 3DS. If you don't have a 3DS and are thinking about getting one, I highly recommend getting the 3DS XL over the original model. For this episode's iMinute, I'll be taking a look at the game Rat on a Scooter XL. Rat on a Scooter XL is a pretty simple game in which you have to keep the rat on track and jump over gaps by pressing down on the screen. The game has 4 modes. The first is Super Cheese XL. In this mode, you have to collect pieces of cheese as you move along. In the fuel depot mode, you have to collect fuel to keep moving across the track. In skill course mode, you have to jump over traffic cones as you move along, and in the fourth game mode called Power Rider, the game gives you power-ups that will help you move along the track and collect more cheese. Rat on a Scooter XL is simple, yet fun and addictive, which is perfect for pickup and play sessions on the go. Alright, hello everybody. I'm Brother Jordan, as you may already know from watching previous episodes. And we're here for another Brat vs Jordan battle. What we're going to do is play an indie game called Funky Punch XL. It's basically a fighting game, and whoever will beat the other person will get the point added onto your score, alright? Ready? Alright, let's fight. Alright, here we go. Oh man, the controls in this game are so bad. Alright, well, my brother beat me in another game. That game was terrible. Funky Punch XL, the controls were just sluggish, jumping was off. It's a terrible game. You know, some indie games are good, but other indie games are, you know, just, well, they feel like indie games, just leave it at that. But, Jordan gets the point. Hopefully I'll be able to catch up. I don't remember when the last time I won a game against you. I think it might have been last season, I'm not sure. But hopefully I'll be able to win next time, and hopefully you guys will be there to watch it. Until then, Jordan Davis, me, Brad Davis, we'll see you next time right here on the D-Pad. Like and subscribe, everybody. Alright, bye-bye.